but he was not able to, of course, didn't have that chance to make that choice. He had to go with his mother. And I told him that, well, this is a very interesting situation where you could create a short film, actually, and start, for example, to imagine that what if you have a character in a similar situation, and the boy has an argument with his mother that he wants to go with that man, and the mother says, okay, if that's your decision, then go with him. And then he goes, and what happens? Because then and he didn't kind of, well, this idea is too close to me. I'm not sure if I want to work with that. And he had one idea for a story, which was the main character was a author who was 3 years old and had a family and children, and who met some woman in a bar and so on, and he was all the time struggling with that story, of course, because those characters were too distant for him. And many times I was kind of reminding him that, okay, you have this story still there. And one morning when I was coming to the school, 8 o'clock in the morning, he was waiting for me. And he told me that, okay, last night I took a couple of beers and I decided that maybe I go with this story about the boy who goes with the man when his mother has a divorce with this. And he created a great short film, because of course then we started to dramatize what could have happened. So for example, that he goes to the apartment where the man is living, and he has to sleep on the sofa, and then one morning there is one woman in the apartment, and he doesn't know who is that woman, and of course later on comes out that that woman is pregnant as well, and he realizes that he is a kind of there are too many wheels on those wagon, and he has to kind of go back to his mother on the end, but so that he understands that there was some reason for this divorce, actually, which was hidden from him, actually. I don't know if I answered to your question, but this is just an example. But there is also so sometimes it can take a long time, for example, for a students to understand how good story and potential vital story there is close to him or them. I don't know, did I answer to your question?
Thank you. Well, yes, I think what it really takes is time and nudging, and them being willing to be able to see themselves as not the character, and
Yeah,
that, everyone takes
exactly.
whatever amount of time they
Yeah,
take for that.
because the writing process for him from that point, it was very easy. He really was able to imagine all those situations which really didn't happen, but he was able to imagine what could have happened, and he knew the characters.
Right. I do think that's the thing. It's getting them to realize that they can know the character deeply and still have it not be exactly them.
Exactly, and that's very important, because it happens sometimes that some student, okay, they can start from the real situation and conflict, but they stuck into that situation, that they are not able to go beyond the real situation to the fiction. they need to have distance also to the situation they are using. Sometimes it happens. It's very individual process.
All right, Eugene, I think you had a question.
Thanks so much. Yeah, for the continuing on from what was just said, what I tend to do is use examples of writers who use their own identity. Partly, I always tend to use Patricia Highsmith because she tends to have a good range of documentaries about her own person, and many writers do that. I suppose the question is, it comes to Koskinen, mispronounced as always, and we have that situation was they get to the students presenting three different story ideas, and one of them is chosen. So what's the criteria for choosing the one story? Have they, in other words, somebody says, I've got 3 life experiences, which one is going to make it into the film and which is not suitable for film? So can students be taught, when I finish this, I look at different life experiences, I think this is a film and this isn't. What's the criteria?
Usually the starting point isn't a complete film idea, but as I told, that many times the other students are encouraging the students that this is so interesting. Go with that. That's the story. So during the writing process, actually, we are kind of all the time trying to figure out that what is this story about and what is the theme and so on. But it's what is essential actually is, of course, that the student has to be has to commit to that story and that idea, that moment, that conflict. And okay, I got it's very much that they are actually doing a research. They are researching the conflict or moment in their life. Sometimes it can be, for example, that they had some breakup with a girlfriend and or they have done something immoral a little bit, and they are researching that kind of situation. It depends on, but it's of course their own willingness to. So we actually are not thinking them as a solid, completed story ideas, rather than they are more research elements. They are researching these particular moments. If you understand what I mean, it's
yeah, I understand. I mean, in a way, it's turning it into material in a process of fictionalization.
Yeah.
And I think it was covered earlier on in that issue of letting go. So, but it's interesting that in that sort of role model workshop, the director got to, I don't know if the story is carried on to completion, but within the classroom, the students made the choice or helped make the choice.
They help make the choice because the other students very often they see see the value of the some particular story other students have presented, so, and which they are not probably able to see themselves at that particular moment. But the others said, oh, this is so wonderful situation. Go with that.
Wonderful. All right. Rosamund or Monica, do you have any questions maybe or comments you would like to add? No. Yes. Hi there, Monica. How are you?
Yeah, no, actually, I'm just listening and I'm just honestly loving it because I'm obviously, well, not obviously, I'm based in Malta, so I do really struggle, teaching students. I'm honestly creativity, where you get ideas from. They're very reluctant to write, to to create stories based on their own experiences. And I've learned so much from Arto. I'm very, very grateful for the exercises as well.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, okay. Arto, thank you very much. This was, I told you before, really interesting, very useful. So I deeply appreciate that you had the time. Is anybody wanting to add anything at this point? Because we're a few minutes away to closing the seminar today. Anybody? Okay, I guess. Then thank you. I'm going to stop the recording now. So